Hello world, Phil here with some creepy TikTok videos that might just make you your pants. Let's go.
What the fuck? That shit's like... Dude, what is that? Calm down. Oh shit! Oh shit! Did anybody get that? I got it.
You know, I don't know what this is exactly, but lately I have been hearing like this weird like roaring or rumbling in the sky, but I don't really see any like airplanes or like hear a normal airplane sound. This is kind of what this sounds like.
What? Very good. That's an airplane that flew up. Oh my god. It's an asteroid for sure, dude. Meteor shower? No, it's an asteroid that just exploded when it hit the fucking, what's it called? Atmosphere. Oh my god. Is that what that is? An asteroid hit the atmosphere. That's that bigger. Oh my god. Circus media. That is like a once in a lifetime.
What do y'all think that was? This is a crazy place to stop this at.
Joe, let me ask you a question. Why not just go license it to one of the big drug companies?
Because I did that originally. I went to one of the biggest in the United States, and they told me we were actually a competitor, and if they took the product, they would shelf it. Because why would they prevent it for $1 when they could treat it for 14?
How much money have you put into it?
Because I think the cost of educating people is the big kahuna here. Joe, based on that, I'm out.
Okay.
These are some of the scariest conspiracy theories in the world, but we're gonna keep going until we find the craziest one. There's actually a huge conspiracy that the Denver International Airport is the Illuminati's headquarters, which is crazy. So basically, since a lot of people already have this conspiracy, the airport themselves have embraced the rumors by poking fun at it. Like, they have billboards and posters around the airport that's like, hey, we're aliens. And people think that since they poke around and joke at it, that it's probably true, that why are they making fun of it? They're trying to hide it. There's also a huge conspiracy that the Apollo 17 was not the last moon mission. Okay. So after Apollo 17 in 1972, America actually stopped sending astronauts to the moon. NASA claimed that they logged all the research they needed and the government funding was reduced, so it ended. A movie actually ended up coming out about a fictional Apollo 18 mission, and now some people believe that the mission was real and it ended tragically when the astronauts had a run-in with aliens. I think that arguably one of the biggest conspiracies is that people believe that airplane exhaust trails are actually filled with chemtrails. So within this conspiracy, people think that the exhaust trails on airplanes are actually chemtrails, and it's the government that's trying to spray us, and they're keeping it a secret. And there's also a lot of conspiracies that feed into this, like whether or not it's cloud seeding for storms, or if it's like mind seeding to control our minds. We're gonna keep going with this until we find the...
I have seen the cloud seeding for storms. I have seen that they use like some kind of silver dioxide or something to make like the clouds condense and force them to rain. I don't know.
craziest one, so make sure you add me and come back to me tomorrow.
Sure. No, Hiram, look! It just totally changed shapes on here. And I'm not moving. Okay, guys, if you watched from the beginning of this, you saw. Look! What are you? What are.
I'm gonna keep it G. Ain't no way you seeing that and remaining this calm or this close. At all. What? Okay, well, let's say this is real. Let's say they are brave. Who's this brave?
Are you?
Seems friendly.
Hi!
Maybe it's waving.
Do you want to change colors? Or is that just your color? What are you doing? Oh my god! What are you doing?
So that was it. That's the one that I saw.
Whoa! You're,
That's a drone.
you're very interesting. Oh my god!
It's turning into a circle!
Whoa!
Could you change colors?
Oh my god! It did!
Yeah!
What if this is like, I'm giving this my biggest imagination, but what if this is like maybe someone opened up a portal somewhere else and they're like viewing this side of it?
Yo, you're sweet! Thank you for doing that for my baby.
And the darkest theory is one that Lazar talked about. He said is something that they talked to him about when he was working on these back engineered crafts, is that what they use us as is vessels for that we are souls. We hold souls, and that this is essentially a farm, and this is how they develop souls through us.
They tell us the truth in plain sight.
Smile I've ever seen out of Mark Zuckerberg.
So the song Shake It Off was about how I shed my skin every 1,000 years. And the song Bad Blood was about how I drink blood out of my Grammys.
A toast to blood! Save some blood for Paul Rudd.
Begins at the dawn of history. The birth of the very first society begat the need for the very first secret society. A fraction of early humans were born smarter than their fellow cavemen. And if they would not listen to reason, perhaps they would listen to a higher power. And thus, the Order of the Black Robes was born.
Operating from the shadows using secret knowledge, we and our descendants kept watch over all of human history.
Well, not to point out the obvious, but fire, plague, acts. If you're watching over us, why didn't you stop these things?
Stop them. We unleashed them.
Because you know how I figured it out? What's 1 times 1?
1 times 1 is 1.
To multiply means to do what? To make more, right?
Yes.
Increase in number?
Yes.
Multiply?
Yes.
How can 1 times 1 equaling 1 be part of the multiplication table? It fails to satisfy the term multiply. It doesn't multiply. Does it? What's an action times an action?
You got some weed!
No, I'm asking you.
I do think that Terrence Howard is talking about something very profound, I guess, in the education system of how we learn math. But I just can't help but thinking that he's confusing the idea. So in the idea, he's like, 1 times 1, is not multiplying. It's just 1. But that would still be a true statement that like one of these at its core is just one. So 1 times 1 is 1. But I think he's thinking of it as one object, but then now there's 2 objects. And now how am I going to times these 2 different things together? That's, I think, the issue that I don't feel like exploring right now. So
honestly, I'm asking reason.
What are we doing
Reason. I want you to reason.
I don't know.
What's an action times an action? A reaction. Right?
Okay.
Have you ever seen an action times an action without a reaction? Have you? No. Because equanimity is the currency of the universe. There's always an action times an action having a reaction. So how can 1 times 1 equal 1? How can A times B just be A and not B? What happened to conservation?
Terrence, these are late night conversations.
These are
bro.
these
they
are. This is the beginning of our understanding. It should fit. What kind of calculator you got? What kind of phone you got?
It's an iPhone?
Okay, go to your calculator.
Whatever the new.
No, go to your calculator. Go to your calculator.
All right. Go to
Go to your calculator.
Yeah, I got
do too. You got iPhone?
What are we doing?
I want both of y'all to do 2 separate things. I want to do the same thing to start with. Turn it to the side.
Okay.
All right. Now I want you to both hit the number 2. Did the whole calculator show up?
Hit number what?
Hit the number 2.
Number 2.
Go to the square root. It is the second column from the left, 3rd row. It'll have that squiggly thing.
All right.
You
1.4.
1.4142135623733095.
Holy
now
crap.
I want you two to do 2 separate things now. 2 separate things. I want you to multiply it by 2, hit times 2, equal, don't you do it.
Okay.
And I want you to hit x to the 3rd. X to the 3rd, it's going to be...
Times 3?
No, x to the 3rd.
Oh, X. Oh, okay. I see it.
X to the 3rd.
Yeah, I got you. All right. 1.1.
No, you didn't hit x to the 3rd.
Yes, I did.
If you hit x to the 3rd.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
So
I
go
did
back
that.
again.
Okay,
You
so
keep
now
yours where you are.
Yeah, I'm
2,
good.
2
square root, and hit x to the 3rd.
All right. 2.82.
2.828, 4271, 2174, 6190. The same value you got
Yeah.
by multiplying it by 2.
Yeah.
And he just cubed it. Divide it by 2 again. Both of y'all. Divide
it by 2.
No, divide by 2. Hit equal.
right.
Now, cube it again. Hit x to the 3rd.
Yeah.
You see that loop?
Yeah.
That's saying x cubed is equal to 2x, which is equal to x plus x. That's an unnatural equation. That's a mathematical fallacy.
Is it though? Or is it just so deep that I can't find a way to figure out exactly what's happening there because we're using such large numbers and such vast equations? To make it even simpler, to me, I don't know. Because I'm like, 3 plus 3 equals 6. And so does 2 plus 4. And so does 1 plus 5. That's 3 different equations that all equal the same thing. So you just gave me 3 large equations that all equal the same thing. I don't really necessarily see it as a fallacy.
And that's the beginning of your math. That's how I invented tangential flight, because your math, someone programmed that lie in there and lied to you and everyone, and all your fundamentals are off.
That I'll agree with, though. I believe that there is something wrong with how math that we're taught applies to reality.
There's this physicist, Miguel Alcubierre, and he conceived the calculations for a theoretical ship that could travel faster than the speed of light.
That a human being could sit inside of?
Yes. He's apparently figured out the equations to make it successful.
Okay.
This is where it gets trippy. Physics say you can't travel faster than the speed of light, but this ship, it stays still. In the universe, the cosmos travels past it.
How does that make sense?
So it creates its own space-time bubble, a gravitational wave making machine that compresses the ocean of space-time in front of it and expands that ocean in its wake.
What?
With this equation, they said that you can travel 6 trillion miles in the blink of an eye because the cosmos, the universe, galaxies are moving that fast.
6 trillion miles.
In a blink of an eye.
Are you kidding me?
No!
Are we sure he did any math on this, or he just used his imagination and said, let's try
Listen, Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about, so it has to be somewhat legit.
He found this.
Here's my thing, like, how do you travel that fast throughout space and not, like, hit something? No one ever talks about that.
ring, a big ring, and didn't know what it was, but saw this strange writing on these strange symbols on this ring. So then he and another person walked through it to look at the other side, and lo and behold, they got into some other sphere, as if they walked into another dimension.
And this ring, so the audience knows, we're talking like what diameter?
It's probably 25 feet
right.
in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
And
the sphere was even larger than that.
Oh, as they walked into it, it was like a new world. Mm-hmm. As he explained in his diary, right. It was like a new world. And he couldn't figure out how he got from one place, an enclosed sarcophagus almost, into this open area.
Is this a portal of some sort?
Well, today we would call it a portal
mm-hmm.
or a stargate.
Mm-hmm.
I think we would refer to it today as a stargate.
Stargate.
But back in those days, in 1928,
yeah, they didn't know.
There wasn't. No, they didn't know what it was. But when he walked into it, it was as if he was in a new world. It was an open area, plush pastures. He sees a river, which he assumed to be the Nile, and he sees almost a movie occurring, showing people building these pyramids. And he's in there, he thinks, for maybe an hour, but when he comes out, he's been there for 3 days. He's been for over 72 hours because the crew that he came with were scared. They got out of that tunnel and got out into the open because they thought that they ended up on some other side.
Or swallowed them up.
Or swallowed them up. And so, but 3 days later, they come back out.
How many of the team went with him?
Only 2.
Only 2.
But there were 6 other team
right.
members, 8 total. And so those other 6 left, but they stayed up in the area outside
right.
where they had an encampment. And eventually, 3 days later, the colonel and his assistant comes
right.
back out, and he talks of this new world that they found, and that he knows now how these pyramids were built. He knows where they are located. He knows that there's tunnels under each one of them, and he sees these strange-looking beings, and this is in his diary,
right.
strange-looking beings that are probably not from Earth.
Well, that was today's video. If you like videos like this, make sure that you like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next one. And if you want to keep deep diving, then check out the other videos in the playlist. Thanks for watching.